oriented too. It's actually, I mean, you're not going to see like a crazy cheese build from Ret. He's just going to expand like 300 times.
Yeah, he's got his own angle that he likes to approach the game from. A lot of good harassment and stuff like that. And JP will be doing the camera work here.
Yeah,
so would you like to introduce the players?
I would. We've got Dignitas Select here spawning. I told this to Artosis. He was quite impressed. In MLG, the higher seeded player is always red, and the lower seeded player is always blue. Did you know this? Yeah. That's how smart we are.
Get on that, OMG facts. This is crazy.
So, over here we've got Liquid Ret, of course. Ret, a very, very well-known Brood War player, also Star 2 player on Team Liquid. He's spawning as the blue Zerg at the 3 o'clock position here on Metalopolis. You know, talking about Metalopolis, we just see so many games on this map.
You know, Metalopolis, it's nice. It's an old map. I liked it. I loved how Blizzard changed it so you couldn't have the spawning position that was close, where you both share the bottom right or the upper left. So, you know, it's a very balanced map. It's a map where you're far away. You know, if let's say Zerg's at the bottom and Terran's at the left, which is not in this case, totally different looking game than if Terran was at the left and Zerg's at the right.
Right.
So this is a map where we can see a lot of split map scenarios, and it's one, you know, where Terran has to know whether or not it's time to take the gold base or the, you know, the upper left expansion over there. Zerg oftentimes has a tough time securing a gold base at all. Broodlords are great in split map positions. But let's not go too far in the late game, I guess. I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. Looks like Ret's going to go for a hatchery first opener.
Yep. And you casted the Select Idra games earlier, did you not?
Right. I did.
Now, I feel like I had the chance to cast that very same match during, I think it was the Complexity Tactic 3D tournament about a week ago. And Idra plays, did he go for this mass muta into Infestor late game? Is that how the games went?
Well, you know what was interesting about the series was the fact that Select ended up meching in one of these games.
Really?
Getting like a ton of Thors.
I've never seen him do that.
Yeah, it was a ton of Thors and siege tanks, but you know, Hydra sort of hard countered that with the Infestors. So,
yeah,
I mean, he did do what you're talking about, but I think the result was a little bit different than a standard TVZ.
Yeah, I feel like that Infestors in TVZ are just so good, especially if you go for like this marine type ball that a lot of people are going, especially Select. I feel like he favors that.
Yeah.
But fungal growth is, got a pause here.
You got a pause.
Not sure what that is about. I'm sure.
Well, you know, it's a live tournament. Stuff can go wrong.
Yeah. Wait, am I about to witness a speech about
the
technology?
Save the speech. Let's see what happens here.
Oh.
Looks like they're.
Are you a ref, by the way? Can you?
Or did we set me as rep?
Oh no.
You know what?
This is like the worst thing ever.
It looks like somebody's actually managed to get, unless I'm mistaken.
Well, they just made the name with a different.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. I think they're basically somebody's screwed them. Well, we're going to have to see what the ref wants to do about this. We might want to cut out a camera shot of us here.
Yeah. That's. I am actually just like.
I'm actually disgusted.
Yeah.
It's actually like moments like this where I realize that I don't have a lot of faith in the human race as a whole. Just select few. I'm actually a misanthrope sometimes.
Really?
So essentially, somebody tricked him into thinking that we were telling him to pause him.
Yeah,
this is hosted on the internet, so some guy's like, I want to screw up fun for everybody.
Yeah.
So anyways, all right, we're back in the game. We apologize for that, so we can go back into that camera shot. I can't believe that actually happened.
Yeah, Artosis usually says, I feel like I just went into a Bizarro world for a second.
Yeah.
Someone like zipped open from the other dimension and pulled me in, and someone actually just did that. Like, well, anyways, we're giving them too much attention. Anyways, we do have some links.
My life is verified. Verified.
We do have some
validated. I can't speak. Go ahead.
Go. Start pull out a dictionary and just pull it every word.
I know. I'm like trying to use big words, but I can't right now. I'm too sleep deprived. Go on.
So we got some links coming out here. It looks like they're just going to take out that initial SCV. This is something you see a lot of times from Select. He feels very confident just moving out with a small marine force, and it's typically just because Zergs are never going to have a huge amount of lings this early on. I feel like Select is just one of the best people when it comes to control in the world. He is so. If we open up the APM tab right now, it's actually kind of low, but his control just on another level than I feel a lot of people. Almost the same as, I would say, kind of a lesser Marine King in that sense.
Well, you know what's interesting about Select is you could tell he's good with control because he's so confident in moving out of his base.
That's so true.
When you get these other players who are like, I don't know, I have to micro, I'm going to forget to make workers and stuff like that. Then they tend to kind of stay inside, but Select seems to be somebody who sort of orbits over his army, and Select is a Dawn of War expert.
Yeah, he's actually like
I think that's where that comes from.
Wasn't he like the world champion, like 30 years in a row or some absurd number? He's really, really good at that game. We've got Blue Flame from Select here. It's about halfway done. Hellions already popping out, adding down some more racks there in his main. Command center finishing. Ooh, the Ling almost sneaking in, lifting that depot at the last possible second. Of course, this will be lifted and either made into an orbital command now or a little bit later. We'll see if Select is going to be moving out here very soon with these Hellions, as as the Infernal Pre-Ignited is going to be finishing here very, very soon. That is quite an early combat shield from Select.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting, actually. I'm wondering what the deal with this is going to be. He may want just the Marines to buffer, with Zerglings and stuff like that, so the Hellions can actually deal the damage, because
that's true.
You could stim in a situation like this, which would be good against Zerglings too, but then they're going to die, or the Zerglings run away.
Right.
But I guess, getting combat shield, looks like what he might want to do is actually push forward, and
this attack is pretty smart. It's going to get in there before Ret really has any tech. He hasn't responded to any. Oh, he's just killing so many Lings there. He hasn't had a chance to put up a Roach War or anything like that because he hasn't really seen what Select is actually doing here. So if Marines come across the map, he could do quite a bit of damage here. Spire is about 30% complete. I would suspect a third base should be coming out of Ret here very soon. I love it. If there's one thing that I love Ret for, it's also very handsome, but the fact that he just has so many creep tumors. He always has a queen that's just her sole job.
Well, here's the thing.
Spread creep.
He's got handsome creep tumors. That's the selling point for me.
That is something, indeed. Select has taken his natural. He's continuing to add on some more upgrades here. Of course, getting the siege tech, getting some siege tanks out. There's the third base going down for Ret. If we pop open the income tab, I'm probably going to think that 60 or so, or very close to that, 54 drones. He drones so hard. He is one of the few Zerg players that actually drones as hard as he does, playing so risky almost.
Yeah, I mean, even compared to our Korean players in the GSL.
Yeah.
He's just got so many. He's so drone intensive.
Right.
It's I really respect it. He's got a great style. Looks like he might actually catch up to some Lings over here.
Ooh. They do actually kind of slip by. I think he took out a couple of them there at the Zelnaga Tower. Mutalisk are about to pop. I think 10 were in total production there, but about 3 of them were just started a couple seconds ago. Those will definitely be able to take care of these Hellions here. Uh-oh, the Lings are going to fall. They're not even going to be able to do any damage. One does remain. Mutas are on their way, though, and looks like Select is just, woo, he might actually kill a bunch of Lings here. Ret needs to probably not sacrifice those. If he loses any more, it's going to be kind of all for naught. But the Mutas did take care of those, and they're going to go straight towards Show's base.
You know what I find fascinating about this is that now he's going to push.
Yeah.
I suppose what he wants to do is have the Mutas turn around, chase the push, since right now Select's main base is slightly vulnerable.
Right. Turrets are just about halfway getting up.
Oh, is he going to get it? Is it going to finish? And it does.
It actually does.
Very nice. Sorry, go ahead, JP.
Yeah, there's actually a turret up at the natural as well. And this attack, I love seeing fourth base already from it. That's just actually ridiculous. But this attack is so smart because it forces those Mutas from actually doing what they want to do, and that's just harass. That is the sole, well, that map control, really. But Red is probably going to lose this. He can't actually engage here. He just pull back in this tight little corner, so there's really not any surface area for those Marines to get affected by the Lings at least. Now, here comes an attack. Pretty good control there. I think these Mutas will actually win out here. They will
win this here.
But he lost, I think, maybe 2 or 3. Ret pulled back one of those. It was pretty low. Maybe he actually didn't lose any Mutas there.
You know, here's the funny thing is that he did not force that hatchery to cancel at the bottom.
Yeah,
that was
true.
Just in range. I don't even think he knew. Let me actually check for you. I'm supposed to be the one who's checking for this stuff. He knew about the hatchery morphine and basically didn't go and kill it. That's kind of a bizarre decision. So Red is not actually that behind at all. He still is going to have a third base, and he's retaking that additional expansion as well.
Now,